first started at Lakeview School, this is going to age me, but in 1987, I believe, I was working in the dorms then. And then there was a student that started at West Elementary, and I can't remember, I just remember, I know Judy Johnson, but Ann Heidebrink, I believe, were my bosses there. They asked if I'd be interested in being a para at West Elementary, so I said yes to that. So that would have been, I think I started in the fall of 1988. Then I stayed a para with West until 2002, so the year after they built Prairie. And my kids were kind of getting to the age where they're graduating and growing up. So I wanted something for the summer, and I took a position with Chuck Wagon Vending. Totally different kind of thing going on. I filled candy machines and drove all over this area, filling coffee, candy, things like that at businesses. And they kind of, well, I shouldn't say kind of, they ended up selling the company. So then I jumped over to Deli Express. That's a company based out of Eden Prairie. Became a route driver again for that company. I was promoted to a district manager. So then I just overseen like Minnesota drivers. And basically I was going to retire out of that company. I really liked what I was doing. But they ended up just going wholesale because so many of the convenience stores make their own things. I really missed working with kids. By this time, I think there was probably about like 13 years maybe in between since I had been at the school, and just really missed working with kids. So I came back as a para and to Worthington Senior High, and Mr. Noble visited with me one day about the shortage of SPED teachers, and he told me about the program that was just starting when I came into it. And so I hooked in with SMSU and basically followed the 2 years of that teaching program, and then did my student teaching here, and now I'm a teacher at Worthington Middle School. So I basically then just reached out to SMSU, and that's where maybe I'm not sure, but so some of the classes I think are here now. I feel like if I remember right, there's only like one when I started, but I did all of mine online through SMSU. And I think it was the year after I got started, then a couple of the instructors had like offices here, and so they could help other people in the area. So when I came back, so a lot of things had changed since 2002. So that, first of all, was a huge surprise to me. I just remember things being, even since my kids were in school, how much it had changed. So I felt like, there was a lot of learning for me to do too. But I was also at a place, and I really think that looking back on it, my job as a manager probably helped it with the company that I was with before. I think it was good for me to get out into and be exposed to that type of job, because it gave me skills as far as, because there's a lot of things where we keep track of as teachers, and you're just, that's kind of how my job was with Deli Express too. There was so many things in your day that you were responsible for, so I think it gave me really good skills for that area. When we talked about it, and I really thought about it because I was getting near the age of 50 when I said yes to that, and I thought, boy, if I don't, it was something in the back of my mind, not so much to be a teacher, but just to finish college. And I just decided, I've always loved working in special ed, and just decided to do it, and really am glad that I did it. I love my job, so. I was a para most of the time, special ed, but there was times that I was just in the classroom. For some years I was a para for, it was called CCC back then, at West Elementary. I remember a couple of years, some of us got transferred over to Central because there wasn't enough kids coming in. So I worked with the elementary ages, and that was something I realized too through my student teaching. My mind from back when I was in my 20s and 30s thought, I've always loved the younger ages. And it wasn't until my student teaching, because I had to do some at Prairie, some at middle school, and then I was at high school, I really I clicked with that middle school, and I wasn't expecting that because I had never been a para there. So I love all the ages, but I really like where I'm at. I like the younger years. I feel like once they're, in all honesty, once I got to the high school, it feels like most of the kids are kind of, you know, doing most of their work on their own, and so I was used to more hands-on. So I was a little probably, I hate to use the word bored, but just feeling like I'm not doing enough, basically. So yeah, so this is good for me to where I'm at, because we're busy, and I think younger ages you're probably pretty busy too. So, and I just think, you know, there's so many paras out there that would make wonderful teachers, and so I'm constantly encouraging them, if you can put the time in for, you know, to get your schooling done, because there's so many great paras out there, that would be awesome. So yeah, just I mean, it's totally a up to them decision, but there's been very many that I've encouraged to do it. And I know even one of the paras that I had worked with here, she was a teacher in her country, but was nervous at the time because she didn't know if she knew English well enough. And her and I were just talking through it, and I told her that I was, and she ended up getting those, her papers sent for her license, and she's now a teacher, so here at the high school, so I was super happy for her. I was not somebody that ever would have thought to be, you know, you hear some stories where there's people that wanted to be a teacher since they were little. That didn't cross my mind. But now looking back on it, I've always loved working with kids. I used to, when I was a para at the school at West, we used to do, it was Arts in the Park during the summer, so I just loved doing that all the time. So looking back on it now, I just didn't take the time, you know, back then I had young kids and just wasn't something that I thought I would do, but very happy that I did it.